Hello and welcome back to this weekend edition of Table Talk, where we will read an article by Jolie Kim named or entitled Godly Contentment. Paul's words in 1 Timothy 6:6 are both simple and profound. Godliness with contentment is great gain. In a culture that prizes achievement, accumulation, and accolades, contentment seems almost foreign. Yet Paul reminds us that true contentment is measured not by possessions or status, but by a heart that rests entirely in God. Jeremiah Burroughs called contentment that sweet, inward, quiet, gracious frame of spirit, which freely submits and delights in God's wise and fatherly disposal in every condition. This is not resignation, but spirit filled trust. It is the believer's joyful submission to God's providence, whether in plenty or in want. Paul himself learned this lesson. I've learned in what situation I am meant to be content. Philippians 11 and Philippians 12, he says, I know what it is to live humbly or to live in need. He knows what it is to live in abundance. He knows what it is to live in one and with nothing. What it is to be hungry. What it is to be satiated or be content. He knows what it means to be in need. He knew all that by experience. Notice that word learned. Contentment does not come naturally. Left to our own instincts, we want, long for, desire, and crave whatever we believe is essential to us. Instead, contentment is taught through God's providential leading. The secret that Paul discovered in life: Christ is enough. When our identity and joy are anchored in Him, constantly changing circumstances lose their power to define us. Paul identifies the root of the problem. For the love of money is the root of all natural kinds of evil. Notice that he does not say that money is the root of all evil. The issue is not money in itself, but the heart craving for it. Greed blinds us from seeing our desires clearly. We recognize it because we often compare ourselves to those around us, often finding someone with more. Discontentment is not about being rich or poor. It is about a restless heart seeking satisfaction, security, and significance apart from God. Notice, apart from God. This craving exposes our heart's condition. When we look to other things for security or significance, we are actually breaking the first commandment. Discontentment often reveals what we actually worship instead of the God who deserves all our worship. Then what does Paul teach about contentment? First, we must recognize our poverty. We brought nothing into this world, and we cannot take anything out of this world. Recognizing our dependence on God humbles us to make grace precious to us. Everything we have is a gift of grace. When we see life through this lens, gratitude replaces grumbling. Contentment rests in understanding God's providence. God richly provides us with everything to enjoy. Romans 8:32 assures us that the one who gave his son will graciously give us all things necessary for life and godliness. As Charles Spurgeon said, had any other condition been better for you than the one in which you are, divine love would have put you there. Finally, contentment seeks God's presence. Earthly goods fade, but God Himself is our portion forever. Psalms 73. When He is our treasure, His presence and His promises are enough for us. Contentment is found in a changed heart, one captivated by Christ. In Him we have everything. Are you content? Let us reflect on that on this day, and as we go on to the Lord's Day in our work week. Thank you for joining. God bless you.